Alright, welcome to our week 5. Okay, this is the practical session for group 1, if I'm not mistaken, there. Alright, group 1, right? So here basically are going to be our first assignments, which is we have around 2 weeks basically to work on that. Alright. So if some of you guys who haven't actually looked at some of the videos that actually have been uploaded since Monday, I want you guys to take a look back again, and before we get to start our class, okay, before we're going to continue with our lessons there, I want you guys to have some sort of ideas there, what we're supposed to do and how actually we're going to execute correctly to work on it. Alright? So I'll see you guys on 12:30 there, right? Draw from this. Those that we saw there, okay? It's hardly basically we can actually apply those kind of methods without basically have all the original photo that we have a very complete kind of reference that we actually can just follow them all the time, okay? We need to use our imaginations, our knowledge, our understanding that you actually bring out. If you don't have that kind of knowledge, you must be able to find, research and experiment and develop a little bit more sketches in order for you to develop the proper kind of, sorry guys, okay? So this video basically I really add we need to use our imaginations, our knowledge, our understanding that you actually bring out. If you don't have that kind of knowledge, you must be able to find, research and experiment and develop a little bit more sketches in order for you to develop the proper kind of hairline to show basically it's been carved correctly there, right? Okay? So what I can do right here, okay, this is group 4, group 1 there, right? 4, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I want to crop this one, okay, what I actually have been told basically, what we call that language is not there, right? Ching Lin there, right?
Yeah.
If you want to crop there, right, okay, make sure don't crop like this, huh? Okay, some people basically when they crop like this, right, they trace the whole things exactly how they crop there, right? Okay? That's basically what you're not supposed to do that. Okay? Just crop, even though you want to crop a little bit kind of what we call that roughly like this one, right? For example, copy and paste, okay? And then when you want to find some of the photos of reference, like this one, right? Okay, that should be used later on for your reference there, or I can actually find some reference right here. Alright, this is the original photo that I have. Alright, so what I can do, I can crop this part there right only. Okay, if I'm lazy enough to crop correctly there, okay, I just crop like this one there, guys. See? Copy there, right? Paste. Close this one there first. Okay, I can paste right here, see. Alright? Alright, when it comes to caricatures there, right? Okay, caricatures. Okay, first of all, you guys need to understand. I want you guys to draw a full figures. Not half body, not a medium close-up, and not close-up kind of photos there, okay? Full bodies there, okay? And one of the reasons I want you guys to use this kind of methods, I want you guys to play around with your skill of image manipulations there. Alright, image manipulations there, okay? So what I can actually apply from you, because we are actually going to draw a cartoon that okay, the head are going to be bigger than the body there, okay? Please basically do some research on caricatures at the same time, how actually people design the caricatures. Skill of image manipulations there. Alright, image manipulations there, okay? So what I can actually apply from you, because we are actually going to draw a cartoon, right? And the head are going to be bigger than the body there, okay? Please basically do some research on caricatures at the same time, how actually people design the caricatures there. So even though in a normal kind of practice, we cannot basically distort those images like this, but for these assignments and for the caricatures kind of purpose, we can execute like this one, okay? We can basically execute like this. Alright? So this method basically we need to improvise also at the same time later on when it comes to develop those kind of position of these figures there, okay? So when you have this kind of reference like this, you must be able to understand and learn to develop also on your own there, okay? On your perceptions of your design senses there. We're talking about the design sense, right? Okay? Because you guys are going to be graduated, right? Okay? So make sure you actually use your design set that you develop along the way, whether you're good or not, right? To make sure that the proportion is right, the alignment is right, the size, even though we make the head a bit more bigger, but still are going to be look proportionate there, right? Okay? Look proportionate there. That's why we actually have to be careful when you going to arrange back again the head of a person that you basically you want to exaggerate right here into the faces there, right? Into the bodies there, right? Okay? So be careful with it there, guys. So what we can do from here, alright, first of all, of course I have to cut this part there, right? When you want to cut something there, okay, especially on the neck there, okay, don't just simply cut like this. Come on guys, use your brain to think. Alright? Don't just simply cut something without knowing where basically you're going to use back again the element when you want to draw that, right? So now I have this particular kind of positions there, okay, but the hair doesn't look right, right? So that's basically one of the challenges for most people when it comes to develop that kind of position for this reference over here. Okay? So that's why you have to be careful with it when you want to draw from these positions. Alright? So you must be able to use your imagination at the same time how to solve these problems here when it comes to draw back again the reference. Alright? So when I have this kind of reference like this, okay, in these caricature drawings there, okay, I'm using basically not general brushes to draw. Some people smart enough but not smart enough to make a move when they choose general brushes to draw. Okay? If you use these brushes to draw, yes, I can actually. Why basically we can use these brushes then? Can someone basically give me some sort of like response again? Answers there, right? Why I can use these general brushes then if I want to draw? But not all general brushes that we can use there, right? Why we can use these brushes? If someone basically want to experiment these brushes then, why we can use these brushes then? Can someone give me any questions, any kind of answers from you? Why I say basically we can use these brushes then? Even though most of the brushes from these general brushes we cannot use for drawings there, right? But why these brushes we can use there for the drawings there, guys? Why? Can someone answer the questions?
Because the flow.
What kind of flows there?
It's like more friendly than other brushes.
I don't understand that, right? Why basically? Can you see the difference between these brushes and these brushes? What is this?
The pressure point.
The pressure point and good there, right? The pressure point. As simple as that. We can get a proper kind of quality of line there, guys. See, hard round pressure size there, okay? They have a quality of line from there. That's why we can use them. But I'm not recommending you guys to use them. Especially for those who actually sucks in drawings there. Understand, right? Sucks in drawings there, right? Okay? Don't try to be smart enough to use these brushes there. If you cannot get the right kind of quality of line there, thickness and thinness there, right? Okay? See? The thinness of line there. If you cannot draw or get this kind of quality of line, alright, don't try to be smart enough and try to break my rules to use these brushes there, right? Unless you can compete the quality of line better than what I produce right here when you use these brushes there, right? Okay? Understood? So my suggestion is use ultimate ink and thick and thin brushes there. Why? Because you can get also the strokes correctly there, okay? I want you guys to have this kind of strokes over here. Alright? That's the things that we want to see from your kind of way of working there, okay? The quality of line, the criteria to submit this assignments there. So now, to design a clean-up line, okay, there's a lot of ways to clean up line, okay, correctly there. Okay. One of the styles that actually I have been show you guys came from the second week of exercise there, okay. So now, you want to design a cartoon version of you. You need to find a very solid clean-up line there, okay, to design that. So first of all, you need to understand how to execute correctly when you design back again some of the elements from the faces there. Make sure you understand how to draw correctly the lips according to what you saw, like this one there, right? Can you see there, okay, how actually I designed those kind of nose there back again? How I actually design those eyes. And make sure when you design back again those eyes, when you draw them back, it has to be look almost the same like the person that you need to draw there, okay? That you want to draw there, okay? You want to visualize them. Those are the first kind of rules that you should not break. And the second thing is the quality of line that you produce based on the quality, based on the drawing line over here, okay, need to be more consistent. You see that, right? How I make it very consistent on those line and shapes there, right? See? There. And the other challenging that you must have, you have to face there, okay? When you choose basically your own photos over here. Okay, right now when you want to draw the hair, right? How actually going to draw the hair? Some people will draw hair like this one there, right? Yeah, like this. I don't know where they get these ideas from. Okay? The hair look like a papers there, a cut of papers there, right? You see? Is it correct right here when you want to draw those hair? Is it correct like that?
No.
No, they're right. Okay? Yeah. You can see basically it's not right. Okay? So that's why you need to understand what you saw, what you have, and apply back again according to the natural kind of look of those elements that you're going to draw there. So, what you should do there is how to draw the hair correctly. Of course, you have to do some research back again how to draw those hair. Alright? Based on the references. So, my kind of solutions normally, okay, I'm going to use my imagination how to draw those hair correctly there back again, okay? The hair should be covered basically not only from the front side but also from those back view there, okay, of this person there, okay? So I'm going to draw the neck first right here. Take a look over here how I actually draw the body itself there, right? Even though I'm not basically traced there, guys. Remember that guys, I never basically trace it, but I draw on top of the layers there to assist my kind of understanding there, right? Why actually, right, okay, most people cannot draw well. That's why we use reference like this to redesign back again our illustrations there, right? See? I'm basically using my kind of understanding how to draw, for example, fingers and hands back again to draw a cartoon styles of these illustrations, okay, of these models there. Right, that's why the knowledge that you bring from these assignments will not basically just trace them, simple as what we did before them. Now the hairline again when I want to draw. If the hair looks quite very long, maybe I'm going to suggest to draw those hair look like this one as well. See? Right? Cover basically the whole areas there, right? Can you see? This is look more logic there, okay? Look more logic for these pictures there, for this reference. So even though if I want to draw the thigh, the foot there, right, okay? Check look how actually I draw them back. The anatomies of, the understanding of those anatomies when you draw a person. Not just by copying people kind of reference only, but we try to execute and try to redesign back again according to the proper kind of understanding to draw the shapes of this cartoon. Alright guys, okay, that's basically one of the things that actually have been shared, okay, with group 4 just now, right, okay, how actually going to execute back again your kind of methods of working with this kind of assignments there. Okay, so what we actually can conclude from here there, right, okay, one of the things that you have to remember, we need to develop those kind of drawing that based on your own faces. I don't want to see you guys draw other people's faces there, okay, except your own there, okay. And the second thing is you have to take notes there, okay. We have to draw full figures. Alright, the execution are going to be in full figures, okay, not by using only half figures of the body there, okay, the full figures, okay. And the thing is, we're going to use some image manipulation kind of techniques by combining two different images together to develop one single illustration for this digital caricature kind of styles there, right. So, and of course, okay, one of the most important thing that we have to make sure that, okay, that we can actually execute correctly is always on your line works, okay. So I always emphasize on the line work because one of the reason is because I want to make sure that you guys can really cover basically your kind of weakness, which is most people have the weakness to draw correctly instead of they want to learn how to paint only there, right, okay. So I want to have this kind of what we call that clear kind of understanding there, okay, in design kind of what we call that, in design kind of process, okay, in design kind of department and also job kind of scopes here. So designers kind of positions, especially on the colorist, okay, or painter or colorist, okay, is going to be a very lowest kind of job scopes there, okay. It's a lower kind of position from designers or from those illustrations kind of what we call that faces there, okay. So you must be able to understand, okay, people won't be able to recognize your talents by only knowing that you only know how to color or to paint there, okay. For example there, okay, when people ask you guys to paint, all this job scope that we have, let's just say you want to paint there, right, okay, using only for example like a paint bucket, for example, over here, okay. a paint bucket there, right? Okay, where is it, the paint bucket there, right? Okay, the paint bucket over here, right? Okay. Normally, people who actually can use to paint, like this one there, right? It's a job for a beginners there. It's a job for intern kind of students there, right? Okay. So people don't have this kind of respect when you just know how to colors there, right? In terms of pride there, okay, as a designer there, when you go outside there to work. So this kind of work there, okay, this kind of body of works, okay, if you check look back again, okay, you can ask kids to color for you there, right? Okay, it's just like a coloring books kind of methods there. So there is nothing can be proud of if you just know how to paint, even though you can paint as realistic that you want, okay, but the problem is you still doesn't know how to brush, or you still doesn't know how to draw the right correctly. So people don't actually respect people who just can paint the right. That's why I always emphasize on the students, brush up your drawing skills, even though how basically hard basically you're going to experience them, but I will show you guys by using those reference you can improvise basically back again your skills to draw. You need to improve your drawing skill that is before you are going to draw something else there, before you're going to paint, before you're going to learn how to shades there, right? Okay, so improve your foundations. Later on you actually can develop more understanding on your paint kind of styles over here. Okay, paint of styles, okay, is a matter of how to apply light and shades, shadows, and also the proper way to develop the right kind of structures of those shadows on the faces at the same times to work with it. Other than that, it's a very sloppy kind of works there, right? Okay? Without those kind of drawing kind of line there. Okay, that's the thing that we have to remember when it comes to develop your kind of understanding when you want to paint there, right? And a lot of people fail also to paint correctly. Why? Because the understanding of drawing the strokes to gather all those informations there, when it comes to develop the right kind of structures there, to develop the right kind of understanding on the curve line on the strokes, when you want to develop those line and drawings there, to develop a form from those subject matters there, okay, they fail enough to apply there, okay, because they don't understand how to work with their hands correctly. That's the things there, guys. Okay, so I have two different kind of caricatures styles that I actually have been made today. One is a natural kind of techniques and styles there, and one of it is a little bit more like exaggerate kind of faces there, based on the same person, but I actually exaggerate a little bit there, okay, on the faces there. So I made basically those faces look a little bit more cartoon kind of styles, exaggerate a little bit, and of course some people basically doesn't like this kind of styles there, but in terms of caricature kind of style, this is one of those criteria that you need to learn how to execute correctly, okay. This is the normal faces, this is basically more exaggerate kind of faces there, but we not actually just simply exaggerate other people's faces without having enough kind of understanding what kind of features that can bring over to the person there, right? Okay, we must be able to execute correctly at the same times we can basically remain the face of the person that we're going to exaggerate or draw there, right? Okay, that's the thing that we have to remember when it comes to develop the kind of skills there. We not just simply draw them without we not actually just exaggerate them without having enough kind of understanding that which part basically we need to execute more further there, right? So for example, right, okay, if I'm going to exaggerate my own faces, okay, my own face, okay, let me check a look back again. So far, any questions? You have any questions? You have any inquiries? based on our assignments over here? Guys? Do you have any inquiries there? No? Yes or no, they're right. Okay, the size of the resolution and the papers, okay, that we are going to use for our artworks are going to be A4 size, 8 by 11 inch, portrait format, and also, of course, are going to be 150 dpi per resolutions there. Okay. Okay, when I'm cropping these files, okay, these kind of images of mine there, right, okay. So I can do a lot of things based on my faces over here. But if I want to exaggerate a little bit more further there, right, okay, of course I can use also liquify to work on that. Okay, we have two different kind of technique that you guys can try to work on your faces. Okay, so what I did basically right now, if I want to exaggerate a little bit more further on my faces, why I'm actually going to use this liquify, okay, because it helped me to imagine there, okay, how actually I'm going to exaggerate more further on my faces right here, not just to make a fun of myself there, okay, but I want to exaggerate a bit more, because the art of caricatures is all about how we actually can give a little bit kind of like a sense of those facial of human faces there, okay, that still can be remain as the person that we want to draw, okay, but we exaggerate a bit more further, extremely there, okay. Why? Because we want to make sure that we have that kind of understanding of redesign those elements of human faces by applying the art of exaggerations, right? Exaggerations there, okay, to the person kind of faces works. At the same time, we can still remain basically the faces there. People can still actually recognize the person that we're going to exaggerate, right, okay, the faces there right now. Okay, for example, like this one there, right? So I'll make a cartoon version of myself over here, and then the next thing that I'm going to do there, right, we get to save the files there. Alright, and record the session. Let me check basically my recording sessions. Right now, from here, okay, what type of brushes that I'm going to use there? I already explained to you guys that before. I'm going to use that ink brushes there, okay, pen and ink brushes over here. So not using the general brushes that works. A lot of people, when they draw those hair, okay, when they start to draw them, right, okay, they start to draw like this. I don't know why basically they try to draw like this one, right? If I saw some people draw like this, I'm going to ask you guys to redraw back again. Okay? Simple as that. Okay. Our job is basically right now to redesign basically the shapes of the hair there, right? So you have to use creativities to work on that. So what I'm going to do here right now, I'm going to redesign my hair kind of strokes there, right? See? So a lot of people, when they actually take a look at the reference, sample of reference they actually have taken from what we call that, from any kind of resources there, right? They don't actually apply from what they actually have been find, okay, from their findings there, okay, to execute back again correctly to their works there. That's basically the problem that we have from most of the students there. So right now, if you take a look here, if I want to draw the shapes of my nose there, right, okay, take a look there, okay, how I actually execute the structures correctly. Okay, at the same time I exaggerate a bit more further on the line works there, right? Looks like I'm just simply draw the line, but it's not there, okay? I try to execute correctly the shapes itself there. How actually I draw basically back again those teeth there, guys. See the quality of line that I apply from there, and the bunch of structures that I actually execute back again my lips when I draw them, not combining those lines there, okay, at the same time that you would. Okay, from here I can actually execute basically back again my jaw. I'm not actually just trace them there, guys. I improvise the shapes that I actually saw from those references there, right? Now basically those the part of those eyebrows there, okay? You guys cannot see the eyebrow there, right? That's why we have to redraw them back. We not just trace them. Yeah. Now I draw basically those glasses, simplified them. Okay, even though you cannot see those faces, the eyes over there, okay, I can actually draw back again my eyes there. See, that's why I bring up the knowledge that you actually have learned that before into those lessons. So from here I can draw basically the ears. Okay, this is basically those sideburn there, okay? Take a look how actually I draw the ears there, guys. This is the sideburns, and this is the patterns of those ears there. So take a look closely, okay? How actually I managed to redesign back again my faces into the cartoon versions, using the strokes that required, okay, for us to execute back again to develop the proper kind of way to approach our drawings over here. See, draw the beard kind of line strokes, and of course now I'm going to execute my beard kind of shapes there. See how actually I draw those beard there, right? Shapes there, right? Structures there, and the line at the same time there. So all these kind of techniques there, okay, that you actually saw from here, you have to experiment and practice them back there, okay? Even though you didn't have those beard there, okay, for example, but the way that you construct your line, you must be able to practice them right now, okay, correctly. How to add some of the details there. And one of the reason I using reference, sample of reference right here, in order to develop those kind of drawings, because I want you guys to capture every single detail when you have those reference. At the same times, okay, at the same times that, right, okay, you can basically edit some of the value of your own skills, okay, your own skills there, okay. Okay, so that's basically the beauty of developing those ideas from those references, guys. We're not just trying to trace them, but we try to learn back again how to add some of the details that we can't see when you draw without those references. All right, that's basically one of the reasons. Okay, some of those things that you saw, okay, the texturings that, okay, that actually can add from here. Those are the things there, okay? The kind of things that we actually apply from there. So if you check, look right now there guys, okay, I can add more detailings based on what I saw from any reference that I actually have seen there before, in order to improve back again my kind of drawing line and strokes and quality of those details that I actually can require to develop small kind of aesthetical kind of values there, okay, on my kind of illustration and design kind of strokes at the same time over here there guys. Okay, that's the things there, okay, that we actually and I actually want to what we call that introduce to you guys to this kind of techniques there, because these techniques for me, okay, seems what I actually have been saw from most of the student kind of challenges and difficulties there, okay, because I know that not all people can actually understand, even though learn to how to crop also need a lot of time there, okay, that people basically, student basically don't take basically always take for granted from what they've learned there before, okay, those are the things that happens a lot of time there, okay. So I saw all this kind of challenge that happened for every single students there, okay. You always take for granted what you learn, okay. That's why you don't actually really understand really well how actually going to be develop your skill. Okay, right now I try to clean up some of the lines over here to close some of those areas that actually going to be missed out when we want to do some selections like this one and inverse them to have the shapes before you go to paint them up there, right? So selected, inverse, all right, then I'm going to add new layers on the bottoms there, right? Then I'm going to make the shapes out of it there guys, see? So how, okay, so when I actually have this particular kind of what we call that shapes that we actually can use to do some selection and paint later on there, right? Okay? So what I can do from here, I actually can select some of the areas that I want to paint, or even though I want to make some paint kind of style without do some selections also, I still can do it there guys, okay. For example like this one, if I can add some base colors like this, then I actually can still work with the shadows there and shadings there, okay. For example there, okay, so I have this kind of reference with me, okay, put it aside there, right, okay, put it aside there. Oh, man. Okay, as a guide for me there, right? So what I can do next, can do next there, right? When I do selections, if I don't want to select some of the areas back again, okay, for example, I can actually do some selections like this there, right? Okay, like this. Okay, do some inverse kind of selections there. Some inverse selections areas like this one for the hairline, for the hair kind of shapes there, including the beard there, right? Okay, so what I can do, I can copy and paste only the shapes of the faces there. If I don't want to use this kind of thing, I can actually just paint directly from there, but I do some selections over here. So what I can do next, of course I can actually write cover some of the areas over here that is. Those are the things, the first thing that I'm going to do there, right? Okay, so what I can do next here, okay, I'm going to start to apply the heavy kind of shadows that I saw from the patterns from those reference letters. Okay, that's the things there guys that I'm going to do. So using the proper kind of shadows, kind of what we call that brushes over here. I can use the hard round brushes, I can use soft brushes that works, okay. You can choose which one, okay. But if I use hard round brushes, I'm going to reduce the opacity first. The flow first, right? Okay, not the opacity, the flows. And I start to paint the shadows like here, see? You see that, right? Adjust the size at the same times when I want to paint the shadows there. The process of painting the shadows there, no matter what style that you're going to paint, okay, what kind of techniques, okay, they're going to use the same kind of structures of movements that you're going to paint. Okay, you just cannot paint like this one there, right? Like this. You're using basically the whole structures of those. Okay, let's just say this part, right? Okay, the ears there, okay, they has a certain kind of curve kind of line over there. So you have to paint like this one there, right? That's it. Move the flows of those structures when you want to paint. Use the flows of the structures that you're going to paint there, right? That's basically what you're supposed to do. Not just simply paint there, right? Okay, without having enough kind of understanding the directions of the flows of the structures when you want to paint there. See? Yeah, right. So that's how actually you're going to paint. Even though you want to draw, excuse me, okay, to your lips. All right. Alright, so this is basically one of the basic fundamentals how to work with those paint kind of styles there. A lot of people don't actually recognize that. Alright. So when it comes to develop basically those kind of bright, what we call the movements, right? Okay. If we check look closely here, so if I want to paint some of the structures of the faces there, most of the faces there, okay, we saw the movements, okay. I'm going to develop the movements like this there, okay, to paint them up, right? So this is basically the methods that we have to go through, okay, the nose itself there, right? This is the movement of those brushes there, guys. Okay, but of course we have to improvise some of the movements, okay, in a certain kind of situations normally there, okay, depending there, okay, on how actually we're going to construct them back, because you need to understand the illusion of the formations of the three-dimensional kind of surface, even though in the 2D platform. Okay, that's the first thing that you have to understand when you want to paint. Okay, otherwise you won't be able to get it right. Even though you want to draw these classes there, okay, the movements are going to be look like this there, right? But you have to improvise the shapes of those movements from time to time that works on that. Okay, and some of the areas we can actually add some shadings, like circling around it. For some time, okay, I can actually circling around the shapes there, right? Like this, okay, circling around there, okay, the shapes there, right? So depending on the situations there, guys, okay, how it works there. So you have to be creative to develop them, and also you have to take a look on the surface that you're going to paint. Okay, you need to take a look on the surface that you want to paint there, right? Okay, those are the things there. All right, so that's basically one of the tips that you have to remember, and also you have to test and try them first, okay, to work on that. For example, like this areas there, okay, there's a shadows line over here. how are you going to paint them up? Okay, how are you going to paint them up there, right? So what I can do from here there, right? So I'm going to paint right here, like this there, right? See? So this kind of value of toning there, okay? And the art of formation of the shadows and tone there, okay? You must be able to practice all the time that you works, and have to be brave enough to practice to develop that kind of strokes correctly using the proper kind of flows, not opacities. I rarely use opacities there, but I'm using basically flows there to change. All right, that's the things there, guys. But make some selections there first. Okay, to work with it. See? And if you're afraid you make mistakes, okay, like what I've done right now, I'm using one layers there, okay. You can use different layers there, but not too much there, guys. Add new layers there to apply those kind of shadings there. Okay. So that's what I can actually can recommend it for you guys there to work. A lot of people thought, okay, painting, so I want to learn these advanced techniques, I want to learn this kind of techniques there, okay. The techniques that I actually have introduced to you guys is more than enough kind of techniques that you guys can actually learn to execute correctly that is. Then from here, when you have understand how it works, because this technique that I actually introduced to you guys, even though it's a basic techniques, okay, but it's a general kind of technique that most people do for their professional kind of works. Okay, it's not basically pure basics that you can actually use for your professional kind of works there, guys. So this is one of the techniques that works for design for any kind of what we call the occasions of those paint kind of styles there. But the only thing that people normally fascinate with some of the things that they don't actually have that ability to understand, to develop the skills. People always overrated, or basically being overrated their own skills there. They doesn't know basically the level of skill that required for their self there. They always thought they can do it more better from other people's there, but they don't actually have that kind of abilities to practice a bit more further on the techniques properly that is. That's why they don't achieve from what they want there, right? So because they don't actually realize basically their own kind of obstacle challenging on their skills there from there. So what I do right now basically, right, I add more and more tones, but I change the size frequently there, okay, to make sure that I can add more kind of details from those shadows there before I'm going to add more further on those details. Okay, see, basically when you develop all these techniques, you have to take a look at those reference, take a look carefully back again how actually people works, and of course those paint kind of styles are going to be look sloppy. Why? Because without those outline there, the outline will make the whole thing make changes, okay, the game changes on those kind of methods of working there, guys, not because of your paint kind of styles only there. Okay, so about the lips, okay, the lips there, okay, has to be look contrast a little bit there. So I'm going to color the lips a bit kind of contrast, but not too much, because we don't want to color those lips look more looks like he's wearing lipsticks there, right? Okay, but in a cartoon kind of style, we can actually exaggerate a bit the colors there to make a bit more contrast there between the lips, skin tone, and of course with those what we call that the natural kind of skins there, or the base color of the skins there, right? But this color of those lips you guys can use also for the shadows a little bit there, okay, to make it more blending there. Okay, we blend together with those kind of skin there, okay, but not too much there, right? That's how actually we can actually execute them back. All right, the highlight itself, of course, okay. Okay, and the highlight from the skin there, from the lips there, okay, we actually can actually redraw them back from there, and of course, basically the tooth itself there. It's not purely white because there's a shadows also at the same time from here there, right? So what I can do from here, you can paint basically this part basically a bit kind of, right, shadings them out there, okay. Small little details that you develop from your executions, they can make a lot of changes on your presentations. Okay, slowly can actually develop more kind of details there, right? All right. So that's basically one of the tricks that you guys can actually apply from there. Of course, okay, you cannot see basically some of the details from there. So what I can do normally in illustrations, I'm going to paint first basically there's eyes there, right? Before I'm going to add some reflections there, okay, like a glass reflections there. So from here, I can add those colors for those eyes a bit there, right? See? Circling around the shapes there, but not too much there, right? And then add some tone a bit from here. A bit more kind of toning there, right? And I'm going to add a bit kind of like and highlight a bit there. Okay. See? To give a more lively kind of look of these eyes there, okay? Before basically I'm going to use what we call that, a certain kind of, we call that reflection of shadows there, okay, see? From here. There, right? And put a bit more on the highlights of it there. See? On reflections there, right? And there. So the illusion, we create those illusions there, guys, of those reflections there. Okay, we can do a lot of things also from here more there, okay? Like add more tonings over here there, okay? Yeah, right. A bit from here. So we not actually just trace those elements there that we saw, but we try to execute back again correctly and get an illusion of transparency of those visuals there, right? Then we apply back again those reflections. Okay? So from here, all right, the layers that we have, we actually can add another layers to give more reflections kind of looks there, see, right? Yeah, that's how actually we can actually create those illusion on the visuals there, right? You guys, so that's one of the things that I can share with the tricks there, okay? The highlight itself there, okay, when I want to create some highlights over here, I can use basically, sorry, okay, different kind of colors of highlight there, other than white colors there, right? I'm using yellows there to work on it. See? Yellowing there, okay? Yellow colors there, okay? Light yellows there to work with some highlight there. This is what we call some of the advanced paint style that most people don't see there, okay? From the presentations there. They always saw something that they beyond what they actually have thought that before. Yeah, some highlights over here. Right here back again. Okay, I think it's too much a bit there. I can use different kind of size there, okay, to create a little bit more detailing there. Okay, and of course, lastly there, okay, I can use purple colors to give more enhance on those vibrant of these colors of the shadows there. But I have to reduce the flows a little bit to get those the vibrant colors of purples there, okay, instead of only using the natural colors that works for the shadows there. Okay, watch some of the animes there, okay, they also use this kind of shadows there, purple for the shadows there, right? Okay, yeah, make it more vibrant for the presentations. Alright guys, here's the things there, okay, how to paint correctly, how to experiment them at the same time there. So any questions so far there, right? On how to paint the skin tone there, okay? Using basically different kind of methods of coloring methods over here. Do you have any questions? You guys see there, okay? The value, the tone, the quality of line, the aesthetical kind of understanding there, and some of the detailings that I actually can provide from this visual itself directly to develop back again our illustrations there. Lastly, the hairline. So maybe I can use this gray kind of tone like this one, okay, based from this colors there, right? Because it's either below of those what we call that of the layers there, right? So what I can do from here to create basically the shadow for the hair is quite easy there, guys. So what I'm going to do right now, take a look there, right? I'm using alternate buttons and also lasso tools to create the shadows line, okay, shapes for those hair. See the shadows there, right? They will fall off from here. I create the shadow shapes there, guys. See, shadows kind of shapes there, right? Using those selections areas only that works. So I'm using selections areas like this to create those shadows there, shapes. So the next thing that I'm going to do right here, what I'm going to do, using another dark kind of tones, but not too dark there, right? Brushes and paint. See? Take a look here there, right? But I'm not actually paint the whole things there, right? I made a bit kind of gradient kind of tone using those kind of paint kind of styles there. Yeah, see the shadows there, shadows of those hairline there, right? Okay, shapes. So from here if I want to draw basically the, what we call that, the gray kind of hairline there, right? What I can do right here, yeah, draw the highlights a little bit there, right? See the suggestions on the gray line there, okay? From those highlights, because I have a few I have a bunch of hairlines that actually emphasize on the gray kind of hair. Right, so I draw some suggestions line from here. That's why we create some illusion of the shapes there, right? We not just try to imitate only those sample of reference of details there from those reference. See, I'm not actually want to emphasize too much, basically to draw the whole things using only one single kind of style, which is a realistic styles only there, guys. They're going to take too long to do to work on it. So my kind of what we call the suggestions that I actually have done for you guys over here is how to draw, how to illustrate a bit more fastest based on the time that you have right here, right now, in order for you to execute correctly at the same time to work with it. Okay? So simple kind of solutions there, but need a lot of practice. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but this is basically the best thing that I can actually give you guys first, if you really want to learn to develop a bit more understanding back again how to paint correctly. Okay? Alright guys, any questions? Do you have any questions here, guys? They have a double up there, right? Shapes. Do you have any questions here, guys? Okay, if you don't have any questions there, okay. Manju there, okay. Are you here there, Manju? Have you submit basically your exercise?
Yeah. I'm just going to submit the third and fourth one by today.
Okay, good there, right, okay. So, the rest of you guys, do you have any questions here? If you don't have any questions, alright, I want to ask one of you guys, okay, whether you guys can execute correctly there. So, who's going to be the first one there? Joey there, okay? Are you prepared there, okay? Your screen. Joey?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you prepare your screen there, right? Can you actually demonstrate for us there how actually you're going to execute your own assignments right now?
I'm sorry, sir. Can you repeat?
Share your screen and start to work with these assignments there.
Okay.
Right, how is it there?
Yeah.
You find the right kind of photos there, Joey, there, okay? That you actually can work on it. Okay, good. You crop correctly your faces and then combine with another body there, right? Okay, at the same time there, right? Okay.
Okay.
You don't have to exaggerate your own face. You just redraw back again your own face, but make sure that okay, the head is a bit bigger than the body, right? Okay, to make it more like a cartoon version, there, right?
Dengan baik. Ketika saya di bagian itu bagaimana hasil jual berbuat itu bagaimana ia dan apa lautnya kalau lagi bagaimana dia ini itu bagaimana ia campuran ia
Crop that first, there, right?
What?
Control T to crop there, right? To transform there, okay? Control T to transform there, right? Control T to transform there, right? Okay? Enlarge the pictures there. Find another body there, okay? That can be combined together there, right?
The body has to be myself or can switch on the internet.
You can choose on internet, right? You can choose from the internet there.
Ghi là giáo viên nghe một cái gì đó nhìn đâu sức in cái không mà lại reduce how you can
Find from the Googles, okay, from any kind of photos of the models there, okay? Human models there, okay, the model figures there, whatever that you can find quite easy there, okay? Human models there, okay?
Kia sao sao như vậy没有啊，你要写着下来。反正如果我记下来，那肯定得要。还有一种，他给他把他给他在里面的，那种。而且这个那个谈到免费，你12点是分开这个什么？2点前最多讲。
Find any full figures body that you actually can use first. Later on, you can change that, right? Okay. If you waste your time to select the perfect one, there, right? Okay, it might going to have a very long time there. Okay, Joey. Okay. Okay, so you crop and then actually you can actually going to be exaggerate or distort a little bit on this full picture before you get to reward of the video. Don't forget to crop your neck there, right? Okay, before you're going to execute that, right?
Okay.
And the body, basically, you have to distort a little bit there, right? Okay? In order for you to make it more like a cartoon style, so okay?
Hmm? Yes.
You have to squash a little bit those body there, okay? To make sure they're going to be a little bit more proportionate for your head there, right?
Thank you. 你企业的方法。
What brushes that you use right now there, right, Joey?
Yes.
What kind of brushes that you use right now to draw?
Hard brown traditional size.
Are you sure this is the brushes that I used just now?
No.
No, they're right. Why do you use these brushes there, right? I'm not using the brushes there, okay, to draw there, right? For so many hours that actually have been shown there, okay, I didn't actually develop this kind of drawings using these brushes.
Trunk.
If you want to use pencil brushes, yes, you can basically, but you have to increase the size a little bit there, right?
Kita sekarang ikut zon. Ya, siang seminggu lagi. Wah, ini dia. Nak beri ini. Nak beri. Và vậy thì bây giờ em rất thì em rất thân sẽ tôi được chết chúng ông giàu tao bao giờ ở kỳ nào em giáo nó là cái đẹp là cái đẹp nó cái gì nó là cái vui em rất một lần
Are you sure you were going to draw those eyebrows like that then, right? Okay. Joey? I didn't draw those eyebrows like that one there. I will increase the size a little bit. Okay, around 15, 10 to 15 there, okay? Before we're going to add the shading for the shadow for those eyebrows there.
Di sini dia ada posisi itu juga yang terus kita dia punya beberapa terus itu kayak nasi itu jauh dan nama sehingga kita jadi kan yang tampilan itu dia kita dan sih yang itu komik nhà thế này tốt vị trí vị này mình làm là như vậy là mình làm nào đó phải tôi điều này là nào đó phải đi vậy giờ mình sao đó đi vâng từ đây nó một lần nào về thân sư thì gì đó điều kiện đâu của đây sư bảy Rồi đâu nè hãy đến chiều có lại đi ở đây sao cái gì gì nữa rồi bây giờ nó rồi ý á chúng ta thực hiện là nếu vậy bây giờ em có cái sự test tạo thì nó tức là ba ra
Alright, good there, right? Okay, okay. If you use pencil brushes, this is basically the right methods for you guys to draw, but need also a lot of improvement on the strokes there, okay, Joey there, right?
Okay.
đúng không phải để ta cho ta rồi nó làm cái này đó cứ không rồi các bạn bên đây sẽ được ra này rồi let's see cái này được chúng mình nhận ra ra kiểu trẻ hả hay từ bé ta sẽ đi kêu rồi đó
Okay, draw carefully the eyes there, okay, Joey?
trên nó
Yes.
Alright, draw carefully the eyes there, okay?
để này nữa wow thì rất
Usually I'm going to draw like that, right, Joey? The eyes. It doesn't right there, okay? I already gave you guys a lot of example how to draw the eyes correctly there, okay? To move with the strokes there, right? But this is not the right way for you to draw those eyes there, Joey. Okay? Have you been practice basically to draw those basically your portraits? On the second exercise, I don't think so there, right? This is not the right way basically you guys to draw there, right? Okay? Those eyes.
wow cái nhìn lên đấy
Alright? Hesitate your strokes there, right? Okay? Also on the strokes on that.
để nó sẽ là cái text và nó sẽ nếu cái này là cái để tạo vào jadi mana pembentukan itu itu yang dia tadi kan ngomong seperti itu ya saya kayak error itu namanya
Come on there, Joey there, right? I didn't draw those eyes like that. How many times basically I will show you guys how I actually try to draw those eyes there, right? If you take a look to my demonstrations, my kind of sample of demonstrations, which is I made for you guys for the past few weeks.
Cảm ơn em. Ngoài điểm lên tôi nhận là
Take a look there, Joey, okay? My demonstrations from here.
他们在那边观察，然后就很比较。
You hesitate while you draw there, right? You still hesitate while you draw there. Take a look how actually I draw the eyes over here. Take a look there, right? How to move, how actually I move my hands there correctly.
Okay, I'll check it out later.
Even though when I draw those eyes using my demonstrations that was not there, right? I'm still not moving my kind of hands like what you're supposed to draw there, right? It's not there, right? See? A lot of hesitations, a lot on there. You don't practice there, right? I think you don't practice your skills there. Using
I think I need to practice
yeah, right.
more.
Yeah, you need to practice more a lot from here. You have to take serious on your skill there right now, okay?
Yeah.
Same goes to the rest of you guys over here. I don't want you guys to see to this kind of drawings anymore. I don't want you guys to apply this kind of drawings anymore there, right? Because I've been giving you guys a lot of demonstration how to work properly. Okay? So make sure you do it correctly there, okay? Either you're going to use pencil brushes or ink and pen brushes, wet media or dry media. Try to apply correctly from now on. Okay? So work on it. You have 1 week to work to develop your skills on these assignments. So make sure you don't actually work your kind of asses on these works, on these assignments only for a few days, only or 1 hour there. Try to make it worth it for a 1 week kind of quality of works, body of works.
Okay.
All right, okay guys, okay, thank you very much for your times over here. Thank you, Joey, basically for your demonstrations. I can see that you have a lot of lack of understanding from your own kind of level of skill that you need to develop for your assignments. So I'm expecting the rest of you guys also have the same kind of difficulties, right? So make sure you cover both those kind of skills back again. Your kind of weakness from this exercise and assignments at the same time, right? So thank you very much for having today, right guys, okay? Appreciate your time, and also please look back again my demonstrations and improve your skill from time to time, right? Okay? So have a nice day, have a good weekend, and also take care you guys, and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome there.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Welcome there, right?